Mr. Kraft is definitely one of the funniest characters on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think a lot of that can be attributed to the great performance by the late, great Martin Mull. He's first introduced in Season 2. I think he acts as sort of a replacement for Paul Feig's Mr. Poole. He's another teachery, authority figure type person who is there for Sabrina to interact with while at school. We introduced him as this vice principal, someone who Libby often kind of sucks up to. They make us kind of an interesting sort of villain team-up kind of thing. He gives her this special treatment. But he's given this additional role early on in Season 2 as someone who is romantically interested in Aunt Hilda. Now, she never really reciprocates these feelings, but they do date a little bit on and off throughout the second season, sometimes just kind of out of boredom or out of pressure from Sabrina or like a spell or something. But they continue something like this into Season 3, where he genuinely starts dating Aunt Zelda, and they do this through Seasons 3 and 4. You know, she, unlike Hilda, genuinely likes and is interested in him. She finds him attractive. And the two of them are definitely more compatible, both of them, you know, compared to someone like Hilda. You know, they're more kind of mature and adult-like, and kind of a little, you know, more intelligent, intellectual type people. One thing about Mr. Kraft that stands out is that he's the only non-major main character who crosses over from Season 3 to Season 4. Libby left the show after Season 3. Valerie left the show after Season 3. You know, Mr. Kraft, you know, along with, you know, like the really big ones like Sabrina, the Ants, Salem, and Harvey, you know, carried over into Season 4. This is likely due to, you know, like I said, the talent performance of Martin Mull and just the general funniness of the character. Throughout his 3 seasons on the show, he actually gets a decent amount of episodes where he's the focus. You know, this makes sense, him being, you know, an antagonist. That gives him something to do, you know, for conflict. You know, we get a couple episodes that kind of focus on his backstory. One thing we learn about him is that he is an ex-wife who turns out is another blonde witch. He definitely has a type there, but she didn't really treat him well. We also, in the 4th season, learn about his, you know, kind of tragic childhood where he was never given kind of much attention or treated well as a kid. And, you know, this is kind of makes for him being a more sympathetic character in this one episode. And, you know, you can say both of these things likely contributed to him kind of being the mean, bitter person that he is. His final appearance is in the show's 4th season finale. Him and Zelda end up breaking up. And the last thing we see of him is in a scene where he's walking down the street and he gets hit by a car being driven by Salem. Seems to be fine, you know, he just gets hurt a little bit. And like many characters who, you know, leave the main cast, I don't believe he was ever mentioned again.